It's the last edition for the week. Good morning and welcome to Business Morning on Channels Television. I'm Ini John Mekwa.
And I'm Ladi Williams. Thank God it's Friday, and thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at what's in the news. The Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, Dr. Diko Rada, has announced plans for the commencement of the 4th MSME survey. According to him, the updated survey is expected to put in perspective the number of small and medium businesses, their contribution to the nation's socioeconomic development, as well as the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on their businesses. The last survey conducted by both bodies indicates that the subsector contributed over 49% to the nation's gross domestic product. You take a listen.
The compelling need to have an updated survey on the MSME subsector is further justified by the reviewed national policy on MSME and recent socio-economic development and global occurrences such as the COVID-19 pandemic. The cycles of economic recession and unending terrorist and kidnapping and banditry activity in our nation. The agency is fully aware of the need to have an operational framework to guide the development of the MSME subsector, and it is why we assiduously work with identified stakeholders to review the national policy on MSME, which has gotten the approval of the Federal Executive Council. Another key document that is critical for the realization of the agency mandate is the National Survey on MSME, and the National Bureau of Statistics is the apex statistics agency in Nigeria, authorized by the Statistics Act of 2007 to produce socio-economic statistics on all concerns of development in the country, which the survey falls within.
And a bit of corporates now. Samsung Nigeria has launched 2 new high-end phones with folding screens into the Nigerian market, and they are the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and the Galaxy Z Flip 3. The Galaxy Z Flip 3 is a small pocketable square that opens up to reveal a 6.7-inch screen, while the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is a skinny phone that opens like a book to reveal a tablet-sized 7.6-inch screen. Samsung says it is continuing to refine its screen folding technology while offering water-resistant models for the first time. And this is how the event went.
And wristbands. We even tried to incorporate the technology.
Breakthrough technology, backed by hours of research and development, is what Samsung, the global phone maker, says it's bringing to the table. Here in this cinema hall in Lagos, it's time to witness the Samsung Unpacked launch. 2 new phones are in. The Galaxy Z Fold 3 is a skinny phone that opens like a book to reveal a tablet-sized 7.6-inch screen offering multitasking functions. Then the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is a small pocketable square that opens up to reveal a 6.7-inch screen inside.
Samsung Nigeria is announcing our foldable phones as a mainstream in the market. We have 2 foldable phones having completion of functionality and beauty as well.
Samsung, we wow people. Our devices are top quality and premium. Looking at the device, I would say that it has a lot of amazing features. Firstly, we introduced the use of the S Pen, so people like the Note users can also get to use the Fold. It also has the screen is easy to use.
5 different cameras in 3 spots, plus a new layer on the foldable screen that's 80% more durable than earlier screens. And Corning glass on the outside, offering water resistance, brings added value to the phones.
The foldable era is actually here to stay. That's why we're talking about unfolding your world. So we're moving away from what people actually see as conventional smartphone experience and now giving you experiences that actually ties to the user's lifestyle. So the Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3 are 2 devices being announced today that very, very much complement the lifestyle of the users in every possible way.
Now they're taking it up a notch higher. It's now water resistant. You can use an S Pen on it. These are things that no other phone is able to still do today. And I think it's just pretty amazing. And it's just congratulations to everybody who's been a part of this.
Besides the phones, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 and Galaxy Pods 2 were also introduced into the market.
Well, oil prices fell for a second day today after the International Energy Agency warned that demand growth for crude and its products had slowed sharply as surging cases of COVID-19 worldwide has forced government to revive restrictions on movement. Brent crude was down 31 cents at $71 a barrel after dropping 13 cents in the previous session. U.S. crude was off by 33 cents at $68.76 a barrel, while having fallen 0.2% yesterday. The benchmarks are still heading for a slight gain this week. Increasing demand for crude ground to a halt in July and is set to rise to a slower pace over the rest of 2021 because of the surge in infections from the Delta variant of COVID-19. In sharp contrast, though, OPEC held its forecast for a rebound in oil demand globally this year and further growth in 2022, notwithstanding the rising concern about the surge in COVID-19 infections. Now, yesterday, the United States asked for a boost in output from OPEC, and now we see demand dwindling because of revival of restrictions to curb the spike in COVID cases. All this affects Nigeria's revenue and had the federal government approve $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt oil refinery. We now have Mr. Bismarck Rowani, the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, to help us connect these pieces together, especially as it concerns Nigeria. Good morning, Mr. Rowani. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So the price of oil is down for 2 consecutive days now. How much impact should we expect this to have on the Federation accounts for this month?
Well, it's 2 days is nothing in an oil market, in the oil markets. So what is happening now is that we have to look at what was the average price of oil in this quarter, in Q3. The average price of oil today for the whole of this quarter is about $74, $73 a barrel, compared to our planned benchmark of $40 a barrel, compared to the average quarterly price in the second quarter, which was almost about $69 a barrel. Secondly, there's the production. Our quota has been increased from 1.48 now to 1.8 million barrels. So having said that, the total revenue that this country will get from its joint venture and its other offshore activities will actually come in, at today's prices, will come in at about almost $14 to $15 billion a quarter, compared to about $11 billion a quarter at this time last year. So basically, I think that we are in a better place today. However, our commitments to meet our obligations, 1, and 2, to stimulate the economy out of this tepid, slow, and fragile growth, we need additional money. Also, bear in mind that foreign remittances, workers' remittances back into Nigeria declined, and foreign portfolio investors took their money out. So when you put all of this together, find the current account is still going to be in deficit, and the balance of trade will be much better than last year, but we still have a long way to go.
All right, Mr. Ronnie, when prices drop, Nigeria's subsidy reduces, but it also reduces the country's revenue. Which scenario is better for the country?
There's no, what we look for is an optimal solution. You can't make omelette without breaking eggs. You have to understand that. So today, the landed cost of a liter of PMS is 250 naira. Today, it's being sold at 165 naira. So in other words, what you have is that the federal government of Nigeria is subsidizing every liter of petrol with 85 naira per liter. That is a significant amount. It comes to almost 2.2 trillion naira a year. Our budget, mind you, is 13 trillion naira. So are subsidies sustainable? No. Are they injurious to the economy? Yes. But the question is, what do you do with the increased revenue for the government if the people have to pay more? The people are sweltering. The people are under pressure. So there must be accountability as to the use of funds. There must be accountability of the impact of that use of funds on the people's lives, because the well-being of Nigerians has been threatened over the past 15 to 20 years. So the answer to your question is that there's no silver bullet. 2, you cannot have higher revenue and not use it to support your people. And the Nigerians should understand that we are a large country, but we are not a rich country. Therefore, we have to pay our way.
Well, a large country, but not a rich one. But how does all of this affect the operations of, the companies in Nigeria who deal in oil? How does it affect their revenue, their operations, when we talk about all of this?
It's a very interesting question, because last year, the stock market, which reflects the potential earnings and the future earnings of companies on the stock price of today, we had the stock market rise by about 50% last year. But this year so far, we've lost about almost, because of yesterday's good performance, we have lost about 1.8%. Now, but what is interesting is that in the last 2 months, we've seen the market gain about almost 3%. In the last quarterly earnings, average revenue growth was up 39%, and I said, to 1.67 trillion. So whilst the economy grew by only 0.5%, the average revenue growth of companies went up by 39%. The average PAT, profit after tax, of the top 7 companies went up by 69% to 275 billion naira. Their free cash flow went up by 46%. So the companies that are doing well are doing very well. Those that are suffering are struggling. And like Fela says, suffering and smiling, 48 standing, 48 sitting. So this is a tide that will lift only a few boats, but those few boats will be able to employ people, pay taxes, and actually make the economy much better.
All right, we keep talking about, refining locally, which is why the government approved the $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation. But can this really eliminate importation of PMS?
Well, you see, the whole rehabilitation and restructuring of the Nigerian refineries is a controversial issue. And I think more importantly is the fact that we need to invest in viable entities. And I know NNPC said something, that they were going to pay a dividend this year, September, which I think is a precursor for listing the company, commercializing it, and changing its total orientation when the PIB is finally assented to. But secondly, the NNPC did, and the Federal Executive Council approved the acquisition of a 25% interest in the Dangote refinery, petrochemical and fertilizer complex, which is a major 650,000 barrel a day, single train refining, cutting edge technology. So you have to put all of these things together and say, well, one, what do we want to accomplish? We want to accomplish available petrol at an effective price, competitive with our West African neighbors so that we discourage smuggling, and also not to distort the allocation of resources by subsidizing this commodity. Don't forget that as we speak, kerosene is not subsidized, diesel is not subsidized, and other products from the fractional distillation column of the refineries are not. The only one being subsidized, scandalously, is PMS.
All right, so talking about the refineries, and of course, when we talk about refining locally, we cannot help but talk about Dangote refinery, which is, the expectation is high if it is allowed to run optimally, because we hear some, although the APCON has come to say that they are not taking over the company, but, do you see this being the permanent solution to this problem when you talk about Dangote refinery?
Okay, let me put some context. One is that the Dangote refinery is a hub, what I call a hub refinery. The Dangote refinery and other refineries put together, Nigeria will be the hub for supplying refined products to the whole of West Africa, because today refineries are on a hub and spoke basis. In other words, there are hubs in Houston, hubs in Sao Paulo, hubs in Rotterdam, Singapore, and also in China. So those hubs take care of the whole area. Refineries are high-volume, low-margin businesses. Refineries produce products, so you have the all of from gas all the way down. So there are these speculative rumors about the Dangote refinery being overpriced. 1, 2, that they are overburdened with debt. But first and foremost, let us understand something. The fantasy and hallucination have no basis for factual analysis. If that rumor, which I ordinarily would have discounted, that they have $8 billion of debt service, the Nigerian government, with all of its debt, is not paying more than $2 billion a year in debt service. In fact, less than that for external debt service. So Saudi Arabia as a country exports $140 billion. For you to pay $8 billion in debt service, your debt has to be about $140 to $150 billion, which is maybe twice the size of the Lagos economy and almost half of the size or 1/3 of the size of the Nigerian economy. No Nigerian entity, even the government of Nigeria, can have that kind of borrowing. We would have been submerged as a country. So even in falsehood, there has to be some dimension to it to ensure that it can be subject to a reality test. So first and foremost, let us say it is not factual, it is hypothetical, and it's alternative facts, in other words, fake news. Now, let us talk about what are the benefits of the Dangote refinery complex and petrochemicals to West Africa as a whole, because West Africa imports so much and of refined products. So that takes care of the West African need for not only PMS, diesel, petrochemicals, fertilizer. In fact, the fertilizer is already in the market. So when you look at it, it's a productivity thing. The fact that we are not going to, what will happen, there will be no queues, the subsidies will be reduced, if not eliminated, and the Nigerian government will benefit because the Nigerian government has a 20% stake in this and all other refineries, modular refineries in the country. So the question of the scandal of petrol queues and all that will be put to rest once and for all. But at a price. And the thing is that the transactions have to be transparent, authentic, and accountable so that the Nigerian people can see that nobody's being gouged. I think that is critical to this whole transaction. And let's face it, that the Dangote Cement Company had revenue growth of over 40%. And not to talk about profitability. Dangote Refinery and Dangote Cement is paying VAT of 250 million naira a day, and has tax for credit swaps of about 309 billion. There you can see the road from Tinkan all the way to Bagada and many other roads for that matter. MTN, for example, is doing the Enugu-Onitsha road in part of the tax. So when you look at all those companies, at least it's top 7 that we are, 1, they're all doing well. 2, they're all taking advantage of the tax or road to tax initiatives. Also, they employ amongst them, they employ almost 500,000 people. Not to talk of the taxes they pay, not to talk of the fact that they keep the economy going and humming, and that these products are used by other people, other sectors of the economy to make them competitive and to maintain Nigeria's inclusive and sustainable growth, which is what we require today, because the economy is under a lot of pressure.
All right, Mr. Ronnie, before we let you go, but how much of a challenge is crude oil theft in the country?
Well, crude oil theft is as old as crude oil production in Nigeria. But it has risen to an alarming level. So we call that it's a criminal enterprise. And after a while, it becomes self-fulfilling and self-destructive. So today, I think there's a loss of about anything between 200,000 to 300,000 barrels. Nigeria and the Gulf of Guinea is responsible for 90% of all the piracy activity in the world. That report came out last week. So it's a threat, and what we call the above the ground risk in Nigeria is higher than below the ground risk. And above the ground risk is what you call theft. And actually, it is something that has to be, when you talk about insecurity and insurgency, that is number one threat, because it threatens not only the country, it threatens everybody. All the state governments, local governments, and federal government make their revenue from this. So it cannot be tolerated. And to finalize this, let me tell you, the refineries will be of no use if you don't have pipeline infrastructure to bring the crude to the refineries and take the finished products to the markets. Those pipelines have to be protected. And as long as you have this kind of insecurity, which threatens not only the production of the crude itself, but threatens the product and all the lines, all the pipelines, all the way to Maiduguri, from Warri to Port Harcourt, then we have a problem. So we have to deal with the insecurity, not only at the Boko Haram level, not only at the banditry level, but more importantly, at the level of protecting our golden goose, the goose that lays the golden egg, which is oil and gas in Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Ronnie, we'll have to leave it there now. Thank you so much for coming on Business Morning. Mr. Edutech Ronnie is the CEO of Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, after the break, Ehizwa Hub partners with Torrens University Australia and offers scholarship opportunities. We'll get the details later. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.
You're welcome back. Well, the world has slowly gravitated towards virtual interactions, first as a measure to curb the spread of COVID-19, but eventually it seems more convenient and acceptable. The education sector was active virtually even before COVID, but with the pandemic, it has become somewhat compulsory. Ehizwa Hub is very active in this as a social enterprise delivering education and creative technology hub with headquarters in Australia, and now it has a hub in Lekki area of Lagos. Ehizwa aims to make online learning of creative technology programs easily accessible in Nigeria and Africa, and they intend to do that through university admissions and scholarship, corporate accelerator programs, and global opportunities. Well, to tell us more about this, we have Martha Hendra. She's the Education Partnership Director at Ehizwa Hub, and she shares some good news, I think.
Yeah, good news.
Good to have you,
Great
Martha.
to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so tell us more about Ehizwa Hub and your partnership with Torrens University in Australia.
Well, there's no doubt that Ehizwa Hub is a very unique institution, and our primary objective is to bring closer education and future employment opportunities. And of course, this is not only relevant for students that are looking to study overseas, but of course, developing that talent, those skills, and of course, using that talent and skill here in Nigeria to foster the development of the future of the economy and business. And of course, we very much pride ourselves on the fact that we are going to provide the facilities, that access to quality education, and partnering with Torrens University is a very big step in that direction. Universities are around the world offering students various programs, but to have that facility onshore to provide students with academic support, with training, so that as they work through those online programs is very important. And here in Nigeria, you know, students not having access to facilities is also very, very important. With the Torrens University programs, they will be in real time. And what this means is that students will be online during those lectures that are delivered in Australia. They'll be able to interact with their lecturers and students from all around the world. Okay. And so they won't be pre-recorded. And this interaction is very...
it's live, basically.
It's live.
What about the time difference? So you have students there and lecturers there, and then you have students here in Nigeria.
Yeah, the time difference.
Yeah. Yes. We've already had a look at the sessions when they will be run, and that students will be able to, of course, you know, very, very early or later in the evening, but they will be in correlation, and that's not an issue.
This partnership has some goodies. I'd like you to tell us about these.
Yes, well, the goodies are, first of all, in relation to students generally, both male and female, that there is a 70% scholarship, which is for tuition only. That will be offered from today until September the 4th. This covers different areas such as business, hospitality, creative technology, management, education, and the health industry. But in particular, 5 scholarships at 100% scholarship will be offered to 5 industrious young women.
Like me?
Yes, like yourself.
Oh, yes.
Because Torrance University has a pledge to be good, to do good, to provide access to quality education equally. And I think that creative technology is an area where more and more women around the world are becoming involved in. And so this will provide them with that opportunity. So a student, a potential student would provide a 2-page statement of purpose outlining what their interest, their passion is in creative technology, where they see future employment, and how the hub, how Torrance University can support them. And Dr. Obi Ezekweli, who is our chair on our advisory board,
Right.
a very passionate advocate of women, youth, and technology. I'm very proud and look forward to working with her and in this promotion. The other important thing to understand is that students, when they study online, they want to become as involved as possible with online learning. And my presence here at the hub will also be to support them with academic support, to know what it's like to study in an Australian university, because our students will be given the opportunity, if they complete a bachelor's, to then move on to a master's program. It's not that they need to just stay and complete the degree here in Nigeria, which is also possible.
Okay, so they can start virtual and finish it up inside
Yes,
of the university.
It's just a matter of when the borders are open. But the ISWA hub is the facilitator for students through their degrees with the technology, with trainers, with academic support, and just providing that social hub for.
So are you saying
students.
as a Israel hub that potential students or your students can come to your office and you give them some kind of support? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, so where is your office? How do they reach you? How do people access, these goodies that you talk about?
Okay. So our hub is located in Awaya Lekki.
You did it. You called it.
I got it. And we have a virtual studio. We have a photography studio. We have computer labs. We have a student common area. We have trainers on the ground who will be supporting students through their various courses. Myself, as academic support, working very closely with Torrance University on a daily basis, so that students are able to come in and work through their lectures, work together in groups on assignments.
Okay.
So creating that, I guess, on-campus experience,
feel, right.
if you like. And it's very much also introducing students to what it's like to study in Australia, because they'll be listening to Australian lecturers, hearing others Australian students speak as well. And just to know that there are, I guess, different formalities of studies.
Right.
And we'll be there to support them.
Another thing is, who is eligible for this?
Okay. All students are eligible for the scholarship. As I mentioned, 5 women for the 100% scholarship, and all other students who would have completed their high school equivalent. So 18 years and above, because there are diplomas, associate diplomas, bachelors, and of course the master's programs.
All right, so the word startup has become a buzzword now. And how can startups leverage with this platform?
Well, ISWA Hub provides an upskills training program. Now this is for corporate clients, corporations who would like their current employees to upskill in certain software courses. But then in addition to that, our Global Opportunities program will look working closely with, again, corporations where our students are offered an internship. And this is an area which is lacking in Nigerian education moving into employment, and where we hope to fill that gap. And with the prospect that internship will lead to employment. But there's no doubt that there is so much talent, whether it be in entertainment, whether it be in IT, and so we'll be giving these future, I guess you could say, corporates, the opportunity. There'll also be access to capital as well, and supporting them with these start-up
Access to capital sounds very interesting. What are the conditions attached to that? Because a lot of people are going to hold on to that.
Yes. Well, once I give the details as to contact details at the end, they'll be able to be given more information in particular.
You can give it now?
To that. It's just that they will have access to funding for smaller projects to start up. We'll be working with financial institutions to provide them with that. And of course, it comes back again to the facilities that they're able to come in and use them.
All right, what are qualities will you say, stands a HISWA hub out from the competition?
Okay. Well, I recently relocated to Lagos, and I am familiar that there are institutions current. However, it is our relationship with Australia and the rest of Africa. HISWA Hub in Lagos is our first, but we are going to be exploring other parts of Africa where HISWA Hub can build on further facilities and also work with other institutions and companies. So we look at doing that, and it's all about, of course, the promotion of Africa, to Australia in particular, and fostering these very, very good relations.
So how can one initiate this relationship with a HISWA? Do I go to your website? What's your website? Do I go to Awoyaya, where your hub is located? How can one start, and what should I get prepared for? I know you say you're giving some scholarship. I'm sure it's not everyone who will get the scholarship. So what should potential students have? Do I have my certificate? Do I have my, funding, things like that? How do I reach you? What do I get prepared if I want to enjoy this?
Sure. Okay. Well, I will pass on our details now. And now when I look at you, I look straight at the camera. So the telephone number is 0912 260 4201. Okay. Might repeat that again. 0912 260 4201. Okay. And the best email address is simply admissions@hiswahub.com. Okay. But of course, students would need to apply as an online student to the university. They will not need to have any concerns about applying for any visa because they'll be studying online. Their certification is very important, of course, a statement as to what course they are interested in. But there's a lot of that traditional, red tape, which will
which is on your websites, which can be accessed on your...
Of course, yes. And we will have course advisors to be able to provide them with that information. And of course, welcoming everyone into the hub so that we can have this interaction. Otherwise, email, phone call.
Email will do.
All right.
Of course.
So let's look at Edutech now. What's your outlook for Edutech in Africa and Nigeria?
Well, I have become more and more familiar with the knowledge that there is a very large pool of talent in technology in Nigeria, and that the Nigerian government itself is investing very strongly and you could say quite passionately into this industry. And then, of course, the fostering of this talent, but not just keeping it inside, but liaising in particular with Australian companies, and of course providing these students, these future corporates, with with the facilities and the development of many more courses as well. As was mentioned earlier, this is pre-COVID. It's just that COVID has definitely accelerated, and education is one area where all educators need to keep up with the technology, and it simply comes down to a student just accessing their smartphone.
Right.
Being able to do that. But as an educator myself of international students for 30 years, I do feel that interaction is still very, very important, and the hub is there to facilitate that. But I think, coming from Australia, putting Nigeria on the map is really important, and West Africa also in particular. Okay. But it's not just, I guess, education; it's other industries
as well.
Yeah, that's why you're a social. That's why you're a social enterprise. All right, we really have to thank you so much, Mahendra, the Education Partnership Director at the Yizwa Hub. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we do know that a lot of people will respond. We hope you're ready for Nigerians, for the goodies that you promised.
Maybe we can get a scholarship.
Yes,
especially for the women.
As many people tell me, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so it's been interesting speaking with Mahendra, the Education Partnership Director at Yizwa, and she did talk about some goodies that they have. I think we have to move over to the markets now. The market has been bullish, I think, for how many days now? A good one for the equities and investors in the equities market. But what do I know? Will Ibong has the details. Will.
Hi, Amy. Good morning. I think you got it all right. I believe we're experiencing a rally here. This is the third consecutive positive close this week, and the stock market saw a further increase in buy-side activities on Thursday. It seems more investors continued hunting for value counter trading at low prices, particularly those that are yet to release their half-year earnings result. The all-share index inched up by 0.11%, despite the negative market breadth, and all thanks to Dangote Cement and GTCO. 21 billion naira was added to the value of listed equities, taking the market cap to 20.57 trillion naira. It didn't stop there. The total volume of trades increased tremendously by 214.3% to 570.2 million units, while the value was at 2.2 billion naira. Honeywell flour was the most traded stock by volume and value. Sectoral performance was broadly negative. Losses were recorded across the 4 key counters that we track, and leaving the industrial index as a sole gainer. The gain in the industrial index is attributable to Dangote Cement, which helped to lift the market. Move on to the unlisted equities market, the unlisted securities market, where they rebounded by 0.04% to 745.88 units. Market cap was at 648.3 billion naira. Move on to the volume and value, where we saw that they just had 361,090 securities traded yesterday. Value was 8.96, and all in 13 deals. Over to the fixed income market, we see that the market was quite bullish yesterday. Focus was on the long end of the curve. That's at March 2050 paper there. And we had about 20 deals, and all total value of deals was 9.61 billion naira there. But we're going to flip back to the equities market, because we'll bring in Abdurrashid Momo to talk about the rally we had there. Good morning, Abdurrashid.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes. So what do you think is the most important thing for investors right now that we're experiencing this rally in the market?
Where do I start from? Earlier I've always said that the market is bullish. It has always been bullish, despite shaky. Like if you look at some of the stocks, on the market board, you see that most stocks are actually the offers are actually more than the bids, which is a sign like you can scare off investors. But mainly, I've always said that we have 2 players in the market. We have the traders and we have the investors. for now, the market is not favoring the investors because prices are not actually moving, and prices are actually not going down either. But we have more offers than bids. But basically, what has happened is that technically, despite the fact that the market is weak, the market still remains bullish because we are having what they call a staircase formation, which is higher highs and higher lows. And what has helped out from recent days or weeks will be the heavyweights like Airtel, MTN, Thanksem. I think it's a way of, with time, might bring in more buyers into the market. I don't see any sign of weakness so far. We might see some correction because the current close of yesterday is touching a resistance level. But all in all, the market still looks very good. It's still good.
I'm going to cut you right there. Thank you so much for that information. We don't have more time. Next time, we're going to take more details. That's what we have for the markets today. We're hoping that the bullish one will close today, since today is the last trading day of the week.
Yes, we do hope so, because I'll have to do that report later on tonight.
Yes.
Well, anyway, that's where we'll say, let's take a short break because Juliana is standing by in London to give us updates from the United Kingdom. That's after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Heading to the UK now. We have Juliana standing by in our studios in London. Hello, Juliana. Thank God it's Friday. Good morning.
Good morning, Innie.
Yeah, so the United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority has published aviation statistics for the second quarter of this year. A few days ago, we talked about Heathrow celebrating the growth in travels, even though you did mention some hurdles. What else does this report say?
Yeah, we've had some really interesting data from the Civil Aviation Authority showing that in Q2, passenger numbers for Heathrow and Gatwick and all other airports in the UK rose to 6.3 million. This is more than double what we witnessed during Q1, and this is all obviously down to the changing of restrictions on the 17th of May, where the pretty complex and complicated traffic light system came in place. This is only 6 weeks worth of data when leisure travel was permitted, so it's good. However, it is still 96% down the passenger fall that we saw pre-pandemic, so there is a long way to go. But of course, we discussed as well earlier this week, Innie, that Heathrow is finally starting to see decent numbers. In fact, their July of this year was the best month that they've had since February 2020. So there is a long way to go, but we are slowly getting there.
Yeah, and 12 million new subscribers to Disney. Entertainment is a necessity and a profitable business.
Absolutely. Disney have done very, very well. They've released some pretty early Q3 data showing that their revenues during at that time surged 45% to over $17 billion. Just $1 billion upwards from what economists' expectations were. But as you said, it's been a pretty cruel 18 months. And for parents that can afford it, they've decided to take advantage of the opening of Disneyland resorts across the world. But I think the headline grabber from Disney's results update today is Disney Plus. It's a very, very popular streaming service. I know because my kids watch it every single day. It came into the UK last year, and in the last 3 months, they've had over 10 million subscribers. So about 12 million subscribers they've had during that period. So they're doing particularly well, and they expect their revenues to increase going forward towards the end of the year.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that update, Juliana, and I'll talk to you later at 1:30.
Thank you.
So let's take a peep into the crypto market now. The second Green Friday in a row. Congratulations, Ladi.
Yeah, it's a Green Friday. Market is looking good, and we might actually have a green weekend if this continues. Look at the Fear Greed Index right there. It's 70 points greed. Last month, it was in extreme fear, and you know how to use this to your advantage for trading. Always buy when it's extreme fear, and when it gets to extreme greed, you should be looking at taking profit. Market cap, $1.90 trillion, up about 0.58%. 24-hour volume, $83.66 billion, is down about 37% this morning. Bitcoin dominance, 44.76 price of Bitcoin, $45,192, up about 0.38%. That's at 8 a.m. this morning. 24-hour volume, $25.37 billion traded. And we got that jump this morning, got that pullback, and now the MACD has crossed in a bullish way there. We're having the green histogram pumping up there. The RSI was oversold, but now it's getting to about 40 points. Price of Ethereum, 3,126. Let's bring in Michael Inaji now, digital market analyst. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Ladi. Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much. So we had that hack, about $600 million hitting the DeFi community, but I hear the hacker has returned some of that money. What's going on?
Yeah, so basically what we've seen is it's the largest hack in crypto history. So effectively what happened was a lot of the time you find that these smart contracts, they're quote unquote smart, but they're very dumb. And what I mean by that is they're coded to do one thing very well. So it's either to manage money, to generate some kind of yield, or to manage some kind of like yield farming attempt. And so a lot of the times, because of the very specialized nature of these contracts, the people who hack them, they basically find a way to talk to this very dumb contract and find a way to exploit it. So at the end of the day, this isn't new in the crypto space. We find these exploits a lot of the time. I think the reason why the price didn't go down a lot when this biggest hack happened is what you find a lot is the participants in DeFi are usually the more sophisticated type than most of the market, just because a lot of these DeFi products require a fair bit of technical expertise to use the contracts. So when you have hacks like this, yes, it's a lot of money, but you find a lot of the market participants usually have the bigger positions in relative terms because of their sophistication of how long they've been in the crypto space. And at the end of the day, the hacker did return most of the funds as of, I believe, yesterday. He also refused the bounty that they gave him, which is about $500,000 for basically finding the exploit and then, and making the network better essentially by increasing the security. But he declined on it. He said he did it mostly for fun. He had an MA ask me anything about how it went. But that just tells you crypto. Crypto brings the best of people and also the worst of people. The
worst, right.
But we're glad we have all of it in this industry.
Okay. All right, Michael. Thank you so much. Always great talk to you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Laddie. Hope next time we talk, we're at $55,000.
No problem. See you then, bro.
See ya.
All right, so Eddie, that's it right now. Let's hope for a green weekend. Top auto market cap are looking good. BNB is and ADA up there, 9% up. So it's looking good.
Laddie, I wonder if you were the one, would you refuse the $500,000?
I would not.
Food for thought. All right, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful week having you with us on Business Morning for the week. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Hope you enjoy your weekend. And but we still have 1:30. We have Business Incorporated. We'll give you updates from the world of business. I'm Ini John Mekwa.
And I'm Laddie Williams. Enjoy your weekend.